So, part 4 of audio according to a drummer. So very simplistic terms, hopefully to help you understand the basics. So we talked about inputs and outputs. We talked about our input into the mixer and the gain to get the optimum level. We talked about EQ. So now we're moving down, further down the channel strip to see what these buttons here do. So auxiliary 1, now that is typically used for monitors. So if you've got several vocalists or other instrumentalists, they may require different amounts of themselves or other instruments in their monitor. Now this just has one monitor mix, auxiliary 1. So that means you're just going to have one mix for the musicians and singers. So you need to negotiate, I'd say, between yourselves to decide what you want in that monitor mix. If you have more auxiliary channels, it means you can have more variation and you can have different monitor mixes for each musician. So thinking about your gain structure, if we set this gain structure correctly, each channel will be peaking around the same level. So that means then when we look at the auxiliary controls, we can do it on a very visual basis to start with. So it means if these gain structures are set correctly, if we set these 4 channels, for example, it should be roughly the same volume coming through of each channel. So if you had 4 vocalists, you'd have very similar level of each vocalist in the monitor. So for example, if you wanted the first vocalist, say it's a lead vocalist, louder, you can turn it up louder, so you can have more level there. So that makes it a lot easier, but that's very dependent on getting your gain across your channels to be at the correct input level. So now visually we can look at it and say, right, okay, we've got our lead vocalist a bit louder in the monitor. Moving down, you've got the effects. Now this mixer has inbuilt effects, so typically you'd use reverb. So again, you can dial in the amount of reverb that you want for each vocalist. So, you know, again, you may have someone that wants more reverb than others, or the talent button. There's a lot of vocalists, no, they don't like to call it that, but we do. So once you've got that, you've also got your pan, so that's panning it either left or right. Sometimes it's quite helpful to just split the mix a little bit, so it's not all in one place. And then finally you've got the faders. So if your gain structure again is set up correctly here, it would mean that you can visually see where your vocals will be. So if you've got 4 vocals here and this is the lead vocal, it's going to be louder. If these aren't set up correctly, it might mean that actually this is far too loud on the gain structure, so you actually have to have it lower, even though it's coming out louder through the main mix. So think about the importance of the gain structure, and then the rest of the channel makes a lot more sense. So here, for example, we have the lead vocal louder than the other 3 vocals. That's it.